Grammar 41 The passive voice.
Hello everyone. Thanks for joining us for today's Grammar Masterclass number 41. I'll pass you over to our host Matthew Parkinson.
Hello. Thank you, Fred RMC, for the introductions. I would now like to extend a warm welcome to our guests and our viewers. Hello students of Languages 247.
Good evening to you all. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me on your wonderful grammar show.
Good evening everyone. Thanks for having me on the grammar show.
Passive voice. The active voice is often referred to as the normal voice. However, the passive voice is necessary as we might not know or have the active subject.
Active voice, simple sentence with one clause, subject plus verb plus object.
Here the object receives the action of the verb. Chandra has bought the tickets. All the elements of the sentence are important in the active voice. Passive voice, subject plus verb plus by plus passive agent. Sometimes in the passive voice, we remove the passive agent as it is not considered important.
The subject of the active voice, active subject, becomes the passive agent in the passive voice and is introduced by the preposition by. The tickets have been bought by Sandra. The tense changes in the passive voice to.
Use of the passive voice. 1/all the importance is given to the active agent, the object of my active voice greater than the subject in the passive voice.
Secondly, the active subject is unknown. I had my wallet stolen. Here, I don't know who stole my wallet, so I have no passive agent in my sentence. Thirdly, we use the passive for structure variety and flow, if I take the object from my previous sentence. To do the tense transformations from active voice to passive voice, please review the following points. Past participle irregular verbs tense review.
Transformations when going from the active voice to the passive voice. What tense to use? Example, have is plus to be plus past participle of the main verb. To extend becomes extended.
We take the tense used in the active voice, to conjugate the verb to be in the passive voice and add the past participle of the main verb of the active voice, to extend extended.
Firstly, simple present. They extend her visa. Active voice. Her visa is extended. Passive voice.
Secondly, present continuous. They are extending her visa. Her visa is being extended.
Thirdly, simple past. They extended her visa. Her visa was extended. Fourthly, present perfect. They have extended her visa. Her visa has been extended.
Fifthly, past perfect. They had extended her visa. Her visa had been extended. Sixthly, simple future. They will extend her visa. Her visa will be extended.
Seventhly, future perfect. They will have extended her visa. Her visa will have been extended. Eighthly, simple conditional. They would extend her visa. Her visa would be extended.
Ninthly, conditional perfect. They would have extended her visa. Her visa would have been extended. More about passive and active voices. We can also distinguish personal from impersonal passive.
Firstly, personal passive equals the object of the active sentences becomes the subject of the passive sentence.
So all transitive verbs can form a personal passive. A transitive verb means that it can be followed by an object. Example, she built a new house. A new house was built.
Secondly, impersonal passive equals verbs that cannot have an object. They are intransitive verbs. They cannot form a personal passive sentence, meaning there is no object in the active voice that can be used as the subject of the passive form. In this case, and in order to use the same verb in both the active and passive voice, you will need the preposition it. Example, they said becomes it is said.
More examples of transformations. His dog plus to be, plus past participle of the main verb. To leave behind, becomes left behind. We take the tense used in the active voice, to conjugate the verb to be in the passive voice. Then we add the past participle of the main verb of the active voice. To leave behind becomes left behind.
Firstly, simple present. They leave the dog behind. Active voice. Their dog is left behind. Passive voice. Secondly, present continuous. They are leaving the dog behind. Active voice. Their, or, the dog is being left behind. Passive voice.
Thirdly, simple past. They left the dog behind. Active voice. The dog was left behind. Passive voice. Fourthly, present perfect. They have left the dog behind. Active voice. The dog has been left behind. Passive voice.
Fifthly, past perfect. They had left the dog behind. Active voice. The dog had been left behind. Passive voice. Sixthly, simple future. They will leave the dog behind. Active voice. The dog will be left behind. Passive voice.
Seventhly, future perfect. They will have left the dog behind. Active voice. The dog will have been left behind. Passive voice. Eighthly, simple conditional. They would leave the dog behind. Active voice. The dog would be left behind. Passive voice. Ninthly, conditional perfect. They would have left the dog behind. Active voice. The dog would have been left behind. Passive voice.
That's all folks for this evening. We hope that it was not the longest or the worst explanation of comparatives and superlatives. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.